Lara, an alien explorer from the planet Devian, cruised through the Andromeda Galaxy aboard her ship, the Astrolite. Her people live for knowledge, finding beauty in the stars and unraveling the mysteries of the universe. The Astrolite was state-of-the-art, a sleek vessel designed for deep space travel, with glowing panels that reflected Lara's lavender-hued skin and silver eyes. Core, her AI companion, assisted her on each mission, scanning for new celestial phenomena. One quiet day, while charting a cluster of young stars, disaster struck. A nearby sun exploded into a violent supernova, sending a surge of radiation through the cosmos. The shockwave hit Astrolite before she could escape, frying the navigation systems. Lara struggled with the controls, but the ship spun out of control, tumbling toward a nearby black hole. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and Kerr's voice crackled. Gravitational anomaly detected. Attempting stabilization, but it was too late. The ship lurched toward the dark vortex, gravity warping time and space around her. Lara's heart raced, feeling the pull of the void. The darkness consumed her vision, and she braced herself, expecting the end. But instead of oblivion, she felt a strange, pulsing energy surround her like a heartbeat from the universe itself before everything went dark. Lara awoke to find herself adrift in an unfamiliar sector of space. Her body ached, and her mind felt hazy. Outside the window, stars stretched across the sky, forming constellations she did not recognize. Kerr's voice broke the silence, distorted but persistent. Location unknown. Systems damaged. Fuel reserves critical. Lara struggled to her feet, surveying the damage. The control panel was shattered, sparking with blue electricity, and the ship's energy reserves were nearly depleted. Through the flickering screen, she glimpsed a small blue planet in the distance, a lone dot in the sea of black. Core, what is that? She asked, her voice tinged with desperation. Planetary body detected. Probability of sustaining life, 78%. It wasn't much, but it was her only chance. She aimed what little power remained toward the mysterious planet, praying the ship would hold together. As she entered the atmosphere, the Astrolite shuddered, flames licking the hull as the ship hurtled toward the ground. Lara clung to her seat, fear tightening her chest. Then, with a deafening crash, she collided with the earth, tearing through trees and skidding to a halt in a dense forest. Lara stumbled from the wreckage, her legs weak beneath the unfamiliar gravity. She had landed in a thick forest, where towering trees cast shadows over the ground. The air was filled with new scents: pine, damp earth, and the faint tang of flowers. Above her, the sky was an unfamiliar shade of blue, vast and open. She checked her communicator, but it was dead, just like the rest of her ship. Kerr's projection flickered weakly, his usual brilliance reduced to a faint blue sphere. Apologies, Lara. Long-range communication inoperative. Current status stranded. A pang of loneliness twisted in her chest. She was completely isolated, far from the stars she knew. But she couldn't give up. She gathered what supplies she could salvage and set off into the woods, hoping to find resources to repair her ship. The forest was alive with creatures. Deer darted between the trees, and strange calls echoed through the night. She marveled at the life forms, cataloging their movements, but kept her distance. At night, she would lie beneath the alien sky, feeling both awed and terrified by the sheer unfamiliarity of her surroundings. Days turned into weeks as she struggled to adapt to this new world, driven by a single hope: that One moonlit night, as Lara roamed through the forest, she came across a small human village nestled among the trees. Its lights shone warmly against the night, a stark contrast to the cold loneliness that had defined her days. The village was a simple place with wooden houses and small gardens where people lived quietly. She watched them from the shadows, fascinated by their language, gestures, and the way they gathered around fires, sharing stories. Her cloaking device kept her hidden, turning her form into a shimmer among the trees. But one evening, as she observed a gathering in the village square, a small boy named Ethan spotted her. He was playing near the edge of the woods, a flashlight in hand. His eyes widened when he saw her silhouette, but instead of screaming, he stepped closer. "Hello," he called, his voice filled with curiosity rather than fear. Lara froze, torn between disappearing back into the forest or revealing herself to this strange child. But as she hesitated, a valve's distant howl echoed through the trees, startling her. She vanished into the shadows, leaving the boy with a glimpse of her form. He ran back to his village, but his story of a glowing spirit in the woods was met with laughter and disbelief. Lara's loneliness deepened as she wandered through the woods, yearning for the stars she once called home. She continued to record messages on a broken transmitter, her voice a whisper to the cosmos, hoping that somehow her words might find their way back to Evian. Each message felt like a thread to her past, fragile yet unbroken. KOR, fading more each day, tried to keep her spirits up. Probability of rescue remains uncertain, but we endure. But Lara's resolve weakened. She found herself watching Ethan from afar, intrigued by his endless curiosity. She followed him as he explored the forest, gathering herbs and playing by the river. He seemed like a creature of earth, yet somehow he carried the same longing she felt, an unspoken desire for something beyond. One evening, when the sky was painted with 1,000 stars, Lara revealed herself to Ethan. She stepped from the shadows, her form a pale glow under the moonlight. Ethan gasped, but didn't run. He reached out a hand, and she hesitantly mirrored the gesture, her fingers brushing against his. They sat by the river, unable to speak, but finding a language in silence and gestures. As Lara and Ethan spent more time together, a bond grew between them. Ethan showed her Earth's wonders, how the rivers flowed, how the birds sang at dawn, and how the stars looked from this side of the universe. He taught her to understand Earth's language, while she shared stories of the stars and her lost home. It was a fragile, secret friendship, but it brought light to Lara's darkened world. Yet rumors of a strange being lurking in the woods spread through the village. Ethan's older brother, a hunter, became determined to find the forest ghost that his brother spoke of. He gathered others, armed with old rifles, and curiosity turned to fear. One night, as Lara and Ethan sat by the river, the hunters approached, their footsteps crunching through the underbrush. Kerr's voice crackled a warning. Life forms detected. Intentions hostile. Lara's heart raced, and she prepared to flee. But Ethan grabbed her hand. "No, they won't understand," he whispered urgently. "Let me try to talk to them." He stepped forward, placing himself between Lara and the hunters. His voice trembled, but held firm. "She's not dangerous. Please, just go back." But the hunters, seeing a figure glowing faintly in the dark, raised their weapons, fear in their eyes. Lara's chest tightened. In that moment, she made a choice. With a wave of her hand, she released a burst of energy, disabling their devices without harming them. Sparks flew, and the hunters stumbled back, panic on their faces. They retreated, mumbling about curses and spirits. When the hunters disappeared into the night, Lara and Ethan sat in silence by the river. The weight of the encounter lingered between them, but so did a sense of relief. Lara looked up at the stars, the same stars that had guided her through the universe, and saw them reflected in Ethan's wide eyes. She realized that home was not just a place among the stars, it was the connections made along the way. Kerr's projection flickered beside her, his light dimming. Ship beyond repair. Rescue improbable, but potential for new beginning. Lara turned to Ethan, her voice soft. This world, it is strange but beautiful. Perhaps I can belong here. Ethan smiled, offering her a small, hand-carved figure of a star, a gift of Earth's craftsmanship. You already do. With his help, she began to salvage parts from the wreckage, using them to build a small home hidden in the forest. It was a new life, far from the stars she once knew, but filled with new discoveries. As the seasons passed, she grew to love the blue skies and the rustling leaves, finding peace among the mysteries of Earth. And while she never stopped searching the skies for a sign of her people, she found comfort in knowing that, for the first time in her journey, she was no longer lost.